We're often asked, is it possible to take a test just typed in Word and import it into Canvas without having to retype the questions manually into Canvas or copy paste the question text and answers into the question generation interface in Canvas? And the answer is yes. But this is a process that Canvas has not chosen to devote any attention to. So the process involved is composed of a number of hacks. It's a good deal more complicated than it really should be, but it is quite doable. It doesn't take that long to do and can save you an awful lot of time if you have a lot of test questions written in Word that you'd like to get into Canvas without having to retype everything. We'll start with step 1 here and access what's called a test parser, provided online for free by Northwestern Wisconsin Technical College. A shout out to them for making this available to all of us. There have been a number of such test parsers available over the years, but this is probably the best one I could find that was still available. So let's pull that up. And the first thing you'll notice here is that this is not a test parser for Canvas. It's one for Blackboard. Indeed, this path is going to lead us through Blackboard to get to Canvas. But we'll see what that means in a minute. You can get help on the use of this test question generator by clicking the help button here. And you can ask it to give you an example of the formatting that's required for the Word document if you wish to import a Word typed test into Blackboard. You can just click show me an example and it will download the file for you. I've got that here. And here's the sample file that they give you. This shows you that first off, the question types that this test parser supports, notably multiple choice, multiple answer, true, false, matching. Forget the ordering question. That question type's not in Canvas. And an essay question. And those 5 questions constitute a lot of publishers' test banks. There are relatively few other question types that you're likely to find in publishers' test banks or in tests that you've typed in Word. This illustrates the formatting that's necessary in your Word tests. So you may have to reformat your tests in Word. For starters, you don't want anything but the questions. Take out any instructions, anything else except for the questions. The questions need to be numbered consecutively. Doesn't really matter how many there are, it will handle any number. There can be no blank spaces between the questions. You have to take out all blank lines in between the questions. And in the case of multiple choice questions, the question text has to be followed immediately with no space by the available answers with A, B, C, D, E, whatever in front of each available answer. And you just type the possible answers in here. You indicate the correct answer with an asterisk, but note very carefully there is a space between the last character in the possible answer and the asterisk. Multiple answer questions are the same. You just designate more than one answer as correct. And this will be interpreted eventually as a multiple answer question by Blackboard and then by Canvas. With true-false questions, you just type the text of the question and the correct answer with an A in front of the correct answer. So A and true or A and false are the options there. Matching is fairly straightforward. You just list the terms and the matches on one line and put the correct match on the line for the term each time. Blackboard will randomize the answers for you so that it's not such a slam dunk for the students. Again, forget the ordering question. An essay question is just question text. An entry with no possible answers will be treated as an essay question. Here's a short selection of compatible questions I've typed in Word using the guidelines from the previous document. Got a multiple choice question, that answer to multiple choice questions, a true-false question, and an essay question. Before I leave this page, I'm going to want to copy all this to my clipboard. Now we'll go back to the test question generator, and we will paste those questions with a Control V into this box here. Doesn't look like much, but it doesn't have to at this stage. Now I'll click the Generate button. This produces a text file which is formatted correctly to import into a question pool in Canvas. Again, we don't have to worry about the format of this file. Just take it and download it, clicking on this button, and save it to a location on your hard drive where you'll be able to find it. I'll call that my Blackboard Test 2.txt in a folder called BB Test Exports. I'll save that. And I now have a file on my local hard drive that I can import into Blackboard. Well, what good does that do me, you say, when the San Diego Community College District no longer uses Blackboard? Well, that's true, but there is a free Blackboard system on which you can get an account and do the Blackboard portion of this process. That free system is available at blackboard.coursesites, all one word, .com, as you see right here. Just navigate to that URL by pasting it into the address line in your web browser and pressing enter, and you'll come to this Blackboard login page. Initially, you'll need to create an account, which you can do from the login screen by clicking on this link, clicking Register Now, filling out this form, and proceeding on through the process. It's quite simple. Once you've done that, you can go back to Course Sites and sign in, as I've done here. And you're given some background information on Course Sites, which you really don't care about at this stage, since we're probably never going back to Blackboard. But you can go to the Courses link in this system, or in this menu over here, and you're provided with a number of sample blank or sample courses that you can use. And you want one of the courses which is in the original Blackboard format as opposed to the Ultra format, which is newer but not as capable in many ways. So I'm just going to go to this first original course here. I access it just by clicking on this, the name of it here. And you don't need to know anything about Blackboard other than what I'm about to show you to make this work. You go to the control panel here in the lower left of the course menu, and you select Course Tools. From Course Tools, you select Tests, Surveys, and Pools at the bottom of the list. And we're going to make this a pool in Blackboard, so we'll click the word pools there. And we'll start with build pool. We give this pool a name, which presumably reflects what we're importing into it. I'm just going to call it something simple like my pool 2. And that is all I need to do before I click submit down here in the lower right. Here's my pool 2 with no questions in it. Now I can upload questions using this button right here. And I'll need to go find that file that I just got from the test parser. I'll browse for it. And there it is. That's the one I just did. So I'll click open. And I can optionally edit the number of points per question. This is something you'd change once you get the questions in Canvas, so I'm not worried too much about that. And I would now submit. And Blackboard, just that quickly, imports those questions that you typed into Word into a question pool in Blackboard. Once you've ascertained that these look reasonable, you see this message at the top of the screen that says question upload successful. You can go back to your pools list using the breadcrumbs up here at the top of the screen. And there's the pool I just imported. I now need to export this from Blackboard and import it into Canvas. To export it from Blackboard, I mouse over the name of the pool and I get a so-called action link in Blackboard. If I click on that, I get an option to export this to my local computer. I need to put this on my local computer in a place where I can find it again, and click Save. Now I'm done with Blackboard. So let's move over to Canvas and import that exported question bank from Blackboard by clicking on the Settings menu, our course menu, and selecting Import Course Content. What we're importing is a QTI zip file. This whole process depends on the fact that Blackboard and Canvas use the same import file format for test and question banks, so-called QTI file. So we select that as an option. Then we choose the file that we've just created from Blackboard. That's the one right there. My pool 2. Yep, that's it. I click Open to identify that file to Canvas. And I don't have to worry about selecting question banks or anything. I can just now import this file into Canvas. We'll get it'll be queued up. Then the process will start running and it will complete. This may take a little bit of time depending upon how busy Canvas is at any given moment. There we go. And the process is completed. Now if I go to Quizzes in Canvas and access my question banks in this course by clicking on this context menu in the upper right hand corner of the screen and selecting Manage Question Banks. There's my pool 2. I click on that, I see those questions. They appear to be correctly imported. Everything looks right. And I'm now ready to use this question bank in the generation of tests on Canvas. That, of course, we have other tutorials for, and I'll wish you the joy of watching those. Take care, and I hope this works out for you.